What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are testing out some new Physicians Formula stuff. I don't have a full face, but I got a few little knickknacks and paddywhacks to test out. So yeah, there were some things I just didn't want to fork out the change for because I'm just not interested in them. Like, I'm not interested in their eyeshadow palettes. I'm not interested in, I don't need another eyeliner. So like, there are just a few things that I don't want. So most of the stuff that I have is face products. So we're just gonna dive in and play around a little bit. So if you're new here, then hello and welcome to my channel. If you like videos like this where we test out new stuff or just test out stuff at the drugstore in general, then make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more. And subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn that notification bell on so that you never miss an upload from me. And without further ado, let's dive in and try some new Physicians Formula stuff. Alrighty, so I went ahead and did my eyebrows, eyeshadow, and liner because, as I said, I didn't pick out things in those categories. But I do have a new mascara. So this is the Killer Curves mascara. So let's get on the Ulta website and do a little reading about it. So this says voluptuous full volume curling mascara with an hourglass brush that coats and sets even the tiniest lashes. Lash lifting polymers and volumizing collagen provides the perfect combination of curl and volume, and it's infused with pro vitamin B5, peptides, and amino acids to nourish and strengthen lashes. So yeah, it does have that very typical kind of getting old, kind of getting boring hourglass shape. And I'm just going to go ahead and point it out before anyone else does. Yes, my roots are hellacious. I just got my hair done like in the beginning of December though. So like usually my hair doesn't grow that fast, and whenever it does, it's pretty blurred. Like you can't really see a lot of rootage. But yeah, the hair growth hormone, whenever you're pregnant or whatever kicks in, it's kicked in, and it's looking pretty dark up there. So yeah, here's one layer of the mascara, and as you can see, it's a very natural mascara. It doesn't do a whole lot of volumizing or a whole lot of lengthening. It definitely does separate, and like the bristles really do define each lash, but it's just not a very thickening formula, which is what I need for my lashes. So here's 2 layers on this side versus 1 on this side. So yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty wet formula. It's pretty messy, so it does get all over my eyelids. So if you have hooded eyes, just beware of that. Yeah, it's okay, and it's kind of shiny. Like, is it just me, or is it abnormally shiny for a mascara? So moving on to foundation. So I have the brand new Silk Foundation Elixir. So this is $16 on the Ulta website, and they have a whopping 4 shades. I'm sorry, but there's just no excuse for this anymore. And even if it weren't 2020, even if it were 2005, there is no excuse for this. Yeah, 4 shades. Like, really? You all have freaking balls. But it says it's an ultra nourishing, ultra fluid, weightless, organic foundation elixir that improves the appearance of skin tone and texture while delivering a sheer to buildable coverage. Features organic jojoba oil, aloe vera, coconut oil, and botanical cactus flower to lock in moisture, improve the appearance of skin, and deliver a second skin airbrush dewy finish. So yeah, I got the shade Fair Delight. So I kind of want to try it with my little tiny blendiful because I haven't used this for foundation yet, and I actually just washed the big guitar pick one, and I'm letting it air dry right now. So I've got it laid on my heater right now, like my vent on the floor, so that's sanitary. So let me show you what it looks like as far as consistency wise and the color. And again, this is Fair Delight. But yeah, very, very liquidy, very watery. So all I've done up to this point is skin prep, just moisturize and stuff like that. I don't have a primer or anything like that on. So I'm gonna go in with my little baby blendful. And yeah, the reason I want to use this also is because it seems like you don't have to use as much product, but it is blending out really nicely. The color is a pretty good match for me when it's all said and done. Like, it is a little light. All right, so there's the first layer of the foundation, and I'm just gonna let it sit here for a little bit and let it kind of get dry and kind of tacky before I go in and try to build it up, just because where it is a more wet, liquidy consistency, it's gonna build up better if you let it dry, like let the first layer dry. But as you can see, it has a really, really pretty, healthy, radiant, dewy finish. It just kind of makes your skin look sweaty, but in a very like purposeful, intentional kind of way, which I like, as long as it doesn't make me oily. But I will say I did wear this, I think, one other time, because I'm typically not into super sheer coverage foundations, and it did hold up pretty well. Like, I didn't really get super greasy or shiny or anything in my T-zone. I have normal oily combination skin, by the way. I'm typically more oily in my T-zone, but normally I don't have a big problem with getting greasy in that area. So just pointing that out. But I will say the longer it sits in my skin, the more it adjusts and it becomes a better match for me. Because like whenever I first lay it down, it is a pretty good match, but it's not dead on, but the longer it sits, it's like it's kind of adjusting to my undertone and everything. All right, so I've turned down the ISO so you can see blemishes and flaws better, and just so you can see the true blue look of the foundation. So here's what 2 layers looks like. So it's actually really pretty. Like, even though it's not full coverage, like, it really did even everything out very naturally, and it just looks naturally perfected. And this little spot that I had down here that's pretty red, I mean, you can still see it. So next up, I have a cream bronzer stick. So this is the Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer. This is $12 on the Physicians Formula website. I can't find it at Ulta. I don't know why they have everything else, but they don't have the cream bronzer stick. But I got it for like $10 at Walmart. So just keep that in mind. It's usually cheaper at Walmart. But they have 2 shades. They have Toffee and Mocha. Mocha is the darkest shade. And I'm pretty sure this is the shade Toffee. Here's what it looks like. And it's super, super creamy. But it's a really nice, just warm tan kind of shade. So I'm going to start back here. It is very pigmented, so you don't need much of this. But it just really glides onto the skin. It's really easy to work with and blend out. I will say it does have a pretty strong, like, reddish orange undertone to it, so it's pretty warm. So if you don't like a very warm bronzer, I probably wouldn't go for this. But where that jojoba oil's in it, it blends out so effortlessly, and it just really sinks into the skin, and it looks really natural. I'm just gonna take my Blendiful and just kind of blend around the edges so it's not too harsh. But yeah, very, very hydrating formula. So if you do have super oily skin, again, just set it with a powder bronzer or even your setting powder. But moving on to some blush. So I actually have a liquid blush, which I don't really use a lot of liquid blushes, but this is the Dewy Blush Elixir. So it comes in a little pump like this. This is $13.49 on the Ulta website. Once again, with these prices, like, who do we think we are? This is also part of the Organic Wear line, but they have 3 shades, and I have the shade Gorgeous Peach. So let's shake her up and swatch her out. They call it a Gorgeous Peach. Is that what the shade is? Yeah, Gorgeous Peach, but it looks more mauve-y. Like, it looks more pink than peach. I've only used this one other time. Didn't really have a good experience with it, but it could have just been the day. It could have been the products I wore with it. I actually think I tested it with this foundation, so we may have a repeat of that day. Sometimes I just like to make noise for fun. Okay, this is blending out really well. The other day when I used it with this foundation as the base, I feel like I couldn't get it to actually set, and I think I applied way too much that day. There was something off about it, and I don't think it held up very well either. So again, this is one of those products, I guess this entire Organic Wear line, like where it's all jojoba oil and hydrating and whatnot, probably wouldn't be the best for oily skin. I do feel like it kind of picks up the coverage underneath it, like with the foundation, so it kind of seems to disrupt everything. And I'm stippling, like I'm not swiping or anything, like I'm just over here stippling my life away. Also, I'm seeing brush strokes. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on to other powder products now. So I do want to use this butter blush from them, not only because I feel like this needs to be set, but also just to show you one more thing in action, because I don't really feel like I've talked about this a whole lot. So yeah, this is the butter blush in the shade Vintage Rouge, and I've had this for quite a while, and it's a really pretty color, but it's not really my favorite formula. I think I had blending issues with this. Like, I don't think it blends out the best, and it's just a little bit too, like, it's sheer, but it is buildable, which I do like typically. But, I mean, with that, it's pairing really well. With the dewy blush underneath, it's actually pairing very well and adhering really nicely. Kind of Grandma Rose-ish right now, but just bear with me. I do want to go in with highlighter now before I set my face and whatnot. So this is the new Rose All Day Petal Glow highlighter in the shade Freshly Picked. So they don't have a lot of shades in these, but these are all more like rose gold, pink toned. So this is $15.99 on the Ulta website. That is hella pricey, but they have 4 shades, and yeah, they're all kind of dark. So these actually lean more for being better for deeper skin tones, which kudos, congratulations, Physicians Formula. But once again, you're not trying to appeal to everybody for some reason. I don't know how this formula compares to the butter highlighters because I haven't tried those. Yeah, it looks okay on camera, I think, but it is pretty gold. So definitely not for me, but it does look better on a wet base, I will say that. Like, whenever I have set my cheek area before and gone in with this, it just looks too powdery and it just doesn't give a very pretty sheen or dew. So moving on to powder. So this is the Mineral Wear Loose Powder with SPF 16. I have the shade Translucent Light. This isn't super new, like it's been out for a few months, but it is a newish product. This is $15 on the Ulta website. They have 2 shades, Translucent Light and Creamy Natural, which they're really trying to appeal to every demographic with this. This does have a slight bit of coverage to it. Like it's very, very sheer, but it's definitely not just strictly translucent. But on my skin, it pulls mostly translucent. I've used it with numerous foundations and concealers and product variables. I haven't had any kind of cakiness or powderiness issues, like stuff like that. So it does seem to set things pretty well. But that shade range, like why do they keep doing this? But yeah, it does have like a very like milky, smooth, creamy look to it. But with this foundation where it is pretty dewy and also like the cheek products are pretty dewy, I'm probably going to set the majority of my face more so than usual. And I'm not going to do a wear test or anything, but I will leave an update below of how long this wore today. So I'll go ahead and give you the time. So yeah, right now it's 1:23. So we'll say 1:20 is our check-in time. So instead of using a brush, actually I'm going to try my little blendable for setting the rest of my face. I'm just going to go ahead and go right on top of the cheek products just to mattify a little bit, because I feel like with my skin, probably need to do that. So the last thing I have is a lipstick. So this is the Muru Butter Lip Cream. This is $8.49 at Ulta, and they have about 7 shades. I have the shade Pinkini. As you can see, it is super, super creamy, very, very moisturizing, and it's very, very pigmented as well. This is not going to be a very long wearing product. I will say that. Like, this is one that transfers very easily. It can bleed. It oftentimes gets all over my teeth, which my chompers do get in the way a lot of times. Like, there's out there all the time. Even my packaging, like, product is everywhere, and I don't know, like it's not been hot, like it's wintertime. It almost feels like a lip balm, like it's so moisturizing and creamy. All right guys, so I'm back, the rest of my face done, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my little final roundup, final thoughts. So the Killer Curves mascara is okay if you like a more natural effect mascara. If you're looking for that false lash effect, va-va-voom, a lot of thickness, a lot of volume, a lot of length, this is not gonna give it to you. But I mean, it's not bad, it's just not for me. Foundation is really, really pretty, but it's going to be for a very specific demographic. So if you have super dry skin or mature skin, or if you're someone that likes a dewy finish and you don't really need a lot of coverage, this is going to be for you. But I actually really do like it. Now, I would not trust it in the summertime and probably not even in the spring. It is just way too hydrating for my skin, especially whenever I'm super oily. Like right now where I'm more balanced and more normalized, I can get away with it, but I'm pushing it. Like I'm walking on thin ice with this. It sits so nicely on my skin. Like it's not emphasizing pores or texture or blemishes or really anything. Like it just looks so juicy and plump and radiant. And it's really giving me that pregnancy glow, which trust me, I've said before, I don't have. It is not me, it is all the makeup. So if you want that pregnancy glow and you're not actually pregnant, then this is a fake it till you make it kind of product. But I do think that like all the products in conjunction are what's giving me a lot of that juiciness and that plumpness, because literally everything is hydrating and dewy. But I will say that it never completely sets. Like even after using setting powder and a mattifying setting spray, which did help a little bit, and I actually applied a second layer of powder off camera to see if that would work, but I can still feel tackiness, and whenever I touch my skin, like I get product transfer onto my fingers. But once again, I will have a little wear test update in the description box. So our check-in time was 1:20. The Dewy Blush Elixir just isn't really for my skin type demographic. It's a really pretty shade, and I think that it would be good for people with super dry skin or mature skin that needs that extra hydration. But for my skin type, it's just way too much hydration. But I will keep using it and see if it works with other products better. But at this point, it's just not my favorite. The bronzer stick I do like. I like the color of it. I like the way it blends, but I haven't tested it enough to know how well it wears on my skin. So again, more updates to come on this, but I do like this. The Rose All Day Powder Highlighter is just not up to par with my standards. Like there are way too many drugstore highlighters that are so amazing and are beautiful and are killer that this just doesn't compare, especially for the price. And the color selection just isn't the greatest. I mean, not even the color though. Like I did get it to work. Like when it's all said and done, it doesn't look too dark for my skin tone now. It doesn't give a pretty enough glow. The Mineral Wear Loose Powder is just an okay powder. Like it doesn't blow my mind. It doesn't beat out all the other powders that I have in my collection. Like it's fine, and it does give a really nice like creamy, milky, smooth look to the skin without looking cakey or powdery or dry or anything. And then the lip cream. I actually do like this. Number one, the color is really pretty. It's really good everyday kind of color, but even though I can't trust it to be super long wearing, it's so comfortable and it's so hydrating, and it's just one of those that I can slap on, not worry about applying a lip gloss on top of it. Like it's super shiny, it's very moisturizing. Yeah, if it's a windy day, I will say if you got long hair, this is going to be streaked all over your face. So just keep that in mind. So that is it for testing out some new Physicians Formula stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, then make sure you give it a thumbs up if you haven't already and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in my next one.